Count Basie quotes, "Life is a never ending journey of learning and growing." One of the most important jazz musicians ever, composer, musician, band leader. And I always knew his tone. I remember when I had the old tape when Duke Ellington's band meets Count Basie's band. I had that on tape alone. I love that album because you could tell the difference with how the bands were structured. And Basie's band always was about the swing. April in Paris was one of my cuts by him, and I always enjoyed his aura and his vibe with how his bands were. You knew it was something distinctive. Um, yes, it is true. You are always learning and growing. He was learning and growing always as a musician. He had to adapt to a lot of different things. And, he spoke on it. He was talking about he just lived to be in the business. He wanted to see the world. He wanted to see things. He wanted to grasp all that. And he wanted to, you know, reap that and feel a part of it. That's just a metaphor for life in general, in the totality of where you go, where you're going to become, what you're going to do. And, it's very important and very vital that you understand those nuances and those things. One thing about being a successful artist or anything, and it first to tell you is that you have to have a dream, you have to have a vision, you have to have a goal, you have to work on your craft, and you have to be able to think of yourself in a way that it's going to be representative. And he understood that. He definitely did. He was somebody that growing up, I saw the records and I listened to his music. And see, if you came around in a particular era, you could always tell an artist's quota codes and the signatures and the styles and the sound. They wanted to be distinctive. They wanted to be, a oneness about them. They didn't want to be tied to just sounding like what everybody else was sounding like. And that was how I always was, hip to his music, hip to his stylings, because he wasn't somebody that just was just a limited. So and you grasp that, and how it comes to be. You know, so it's a lot to learn with. That's a lot to digest with it, but music is an essential. It's like any other aspects of life, but you have to, like, when you read, when you travel, encounters. It enhances all of that. And he did that. He did that, and he was willing to take different steps and what have you. And he was a very distinctive musician, distinctive band leader. He promoted and wanted quality, and he got results. Like I said before, I've listened to the man's music from way back, and his bands and the tones. That band always was swinging. If Duke Ellington's band was swing, how very meticulous though. But Count Basie's type of band could have almost said like a precursor to Teddy Riley New Jack Swing, because they hit with groove. You listen to some of his old recordings, they definitely had a groove to them, you know. And yet everything was structured. So, um, but that it's a very much a life lessons that you're always learning, and that you're going to grow from it, and it's going to, hopefully enable you to be a better person. And when you pass it on, you understand that fundamental. So definitely understand the quotes. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another, and share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay true, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.